Relations between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and President Donald Trump are deteriorating rapidly. Zelensky said Wednesday that Trump was living in a Russian-made disinformation space, and Trump called Zelensky a dictator without elections in comments that were sure to complicate efforts to end the war. On Wall Street, another good day as the Dow was up by 71 points, the Nasdaq rose 15, the S&P advanced 14. More at townhall.com.
Heard me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money, but if you can get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that's MediShare. You get both. The typical family saves $500 a month, and they love it. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Call now. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. Just it.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
The S&P 500 added to its record as stock indexes drifted through a quite mixed day on Wall Street. The S&P 500 adding 0.2% on after adding to an all-time high the day before. The Dow gained 0.2%. The Nasdaq Composite inched up by 0.1%. Elon Musk's Tesla was one of the strongest forces lifting the market. It helped offset a sharp drop for Celanese after the chemical company warned of weakness in some of its markets. Treasury yields eased a bit. Stock indexes fell in Europe after finishing mixed in Asia. The Dow up 71 points to close at 44,627. The Nasdaq gained 15 points to 20,056. The S&P 500 added 14 to 6144. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We are cold and wet. Some showers, a low of 31. Tomorrow there could be some spots with ice where you might even see snow flurries early on. Things do clear out with sunshine in the afternoon, and the high tops out at 43. Tomorrow night's low is a frigid 21. Friday looking nicer, a high of 47 to go with sunshine-filled skies. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
The Point. The Point.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All righty now. Welcome into Sports Talk Media Network on this chilly day in South Carolina here in heading towards late February. And you know what? If you're going to play a baseball game today in this state, in this weather, you might as well win the thing. South Carolina, stubborn as a mule, in honor of Ray Tanner. Ray Tanner would never call a baseball game unless he absolutely had to. You would have thought there's no way, Jose, that they would be playing baseball today at Founders Park, Ray Tanner Field. But they are. I was over there. Maybe a couple of hundred people in the facility, not in the stands. Too cold, too wet, too windy, but they're standing around, couple of hundred. And South Carolina's winning 3-0 after 6 innings. They're beating Queens. They beat Winthrop last night 5-3, and they are leading Queens at the end of 6, 3-0 on an absolutely dreadful day for baseball. So if you win the game and you don't get anybody hurt, to me that's the concern. I mean, the conditions are terrible. Field is, it's raining. It's been raining. Field is very, very wet, and it's almost cold enough for ice showers and maybe even snow. But they're playing. They are playing, and they're going to the top of the 7th, and you might as well win it if you're going to play it. And so South Carolina is up 3-0, coming off a 5-3 win last night over Winthrop, trying to go to 5-0. You know, the last South Carolina baseball coach to win his first 4 games in his time at South Carolina was none other than Ray Tanner. Chad Holbrook didn't do it, and Mark Kingston didn't do it. Palmineri has done it. Now he's trying to go to 5-0. And they're up 3-0 in the top of the 7th. The story, of course, when you have a shutout going, the pitching, once again for South Carolina, has been supreme. Susie started, went 3 innings, allowed a hit and a walk. He struck out 2. Garino followed with 3 really good innings, 1 hit, 5 strikeouts. He walked 1. Crowther is on now for the Gamecocks in the top of the 7th. Scoring-wise, the Gamecocks scored in the bottom of the 1st. Petrie with an RBI single up the middle. Stayed that way until the 6th. And Kazmar, sacrifice fly to right, scored 1 run, and then Scobie, a ground out to short, and that scored another run. That made it 3-0 South Carolina as they play the top of the 7th inning. Keep you up to date on that as we go on through the show. Tonight, got a great one for you, 7:05. Clemson basketball coach Brad Brownell will join us, talk about his season, talk about the SMU game coming up for the Tigers, talk about what's happening around the country, just talk some college basketball with the coach of the Tigers, who has done another phenomenal job with his team this year. Going to stack another 20-win season on top of a 20-win season and on top of a 20-win season. And going to go to back-to-back NCAA tournaments. Should be 3 in a row, but this will be back-to-back. The question is, how high should the Tigers be seeded? Right now, their highest projection is a 6 seed. They're not playing like a 6 seed. I mean, they're playing more like, I'd say a 3 or 4 seed, the way they're playing right now. I mean, they're playing lights out. Meantime, South Carolina last night, I got to tell you, watching them play on television is painful. I mean, it really is. I don't know that – I hate to use the phrase I don't know I've ever seen, because that goes back over a lot of years. Probably have seen, but in my memory, I don't know that I've ever seen a team with so many cement hands for a basketball team. Cement hands. Guys that can't simply catch the ball or pass the ball. I mean, it really is. I mean, I'm not embarrassed, but I'm embarrassed for them to look like they did. They were not playing a good team last night. They were on the road, but they were playing a team that had only 13 wins and was just above them in the SEC standings, and somehow managed to play worse than LSU could play. Just the simplest of things. It's like they haven't practiced certain things. They haven't been coached on certain things. I don't know why this team has just fallen apart the way it has. People keep pointing to, well, they got no point guard. They got no point guard. Well, you know what? You're right. They got no true point guard. But teams get away without having a true point guard per se. I mean, they got a guy in the backcourt who can light it up, and he did it last night, Jabari Thomas. You can't – I mean, he scored 23 points. He was really about their own true offensive threat. Yeah, Colin Murray-Boyles had 16, but too little of that was meaningful. Jabari Thomas can create shots on his own. He can get to the basket. He can get the ball in the hoop. He did have 3 assists. He only had 2 turnovers. Nick Pringle last night I don't know where his head was. He had 6 turnovers and one stretch. There was a chance there. The Gamecocks had cut it to 9 with, what was it, about 9 minutes to go? They cut it to 9, and they created a turnover. So they got it down to 9. They've got the basketball. They got some momentum. What do? They turn it over, and LSU goes down and hits a 3. Next possession, South Carolina with the basketball. What do? They turn it over, and LSU goes down and hits, I think they hit a 2 to go up 14. Built the lead back up to 21 after they had gotten it down to 9. But just watching this team try to run a simple offense, they look, I mean, I guess this is where the lack of a true quarterback on the court comes into play. They just look lost. One thing about a point guard, the little bit of basketball that I've played in my life, one thing that I know about a point guard, the point guard goes and finds the basketball. When the other team scores, the point guard should be breaking back towards the baseline. He should not be the guy inbounding. The guy inbounding should be looking for the point guard because that's the guy that's going to set up your offense. He should be looking for the ball and going and breaking to the ball. When an offense is in disarray, if you have a true point guard, he's the guy that gets the ball in his hands and he settles down the offense and he runs the play. And I guess South Carolina just totally lacks that this year. They had it last year in Talon Cooper, who did an excellent job. And we've talked about B.J. Mack and what he meant to the team last year. And, of course, Michie Johnson gave him a terrific long threat as an outside shooter. They missed those 3 pieces for sure. And not only have they not satisfactorily replaced those guys, but really none of the newcomers have stepped up their game to a real high level. Yeah, Ugasuk is playing at a higher level than last year, but he's not playing at a great level. He didn't score in nearly 11 minutes last night. Nobody has really taken their game to a higher level than where they were last year among the returnees. So that's why they are where they are, 0-13, closing in on the all-time losing record at longest losing streak at South Carolina. And they'll be hosting Texas on Saturday night, a Texas team that is not great, but is Texas, and they've got some players, and they've got the capability of beating a lot of teams, certainly South Carolina on the road. So we'll see if the Gamecocks can break the streak on Saturday night, but did not look good at all last night. They've gone to the bottom of the 7th. It's still 3-0 South Carolina over Queens. Some other things to talk about. By the way, our phone number, your reaction to how the Gamecocks played last night, if you want to share that. The phone number is 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. And our text line number is 803-900-4847, 803-900-4847. You can shoot us a text, and we'll be happy to read that on the air. If you're watching us on our Facebook stream or our YouTube stream, and you can find those, Sports Talk Media Network, you can also shoot us a text message there as well. No Chris Bergen tonight, as Bergie is on the road with Coastal Carolina, as they have a basketball game tomorrow night at Southern Miss, and then they head over to Troy. Some other things to talk about tonight. How about this? Art Chase named the 14th athletic director at the Citadel today. Very popular choice, at least among the media. I'm sure it will be the same among Bulldog fans. Those of us in the media, we've known Art for a long time, back to the days when he was the sports information director at Presbyterian and then at the Citadel. Then he took off and spent 25 years at Duke and moved up through the administration there at Duke. And now he is headed to the Citadel. Wish him the best of luck. We'll get him on the show as soon as we can. He's got a big job on his hands. When you look at Citadel athletics and you look at the big 3 men's sports, they've been struggling in all. Maybe football got better last season. I don't think you can say they've turned a corner, but they did improve last year. That's the one thing. Basketball continues to struggle. They haven't won a Southern Conference game yet, I don't believe. So they continue to struggle in basketball. Their baseball, we'll see. They got a new coach, maybe some new energy, some new life there, but they've been down in baseball. And that was really kind of their pride and joy for so many years, baseball, their baseball program. And that's been down. So he's got some work to do to get them winning, there at the Citadel, which, besides fundraising, winning is pretty important as an AD. Winning, what comes first? Chicken, egg? Winning comes first, and then you get the money. Then you get the contributions, or maybe you get the contributions, and that leads to the winning. Of course, we all know the Citadel is a unique situation. So a little bit different compared to any other school when it comes to all this NIL stuff. People that go to the Citadel have a different mission in mind. They have a different plan for their future than folks who go to the other schools. So that's a whole different story. Yet, that's no excuse, and that's no reason not to be competitive, because over the years they've proven they can be competitive. They've gone to Omaha in baseball. They've won Southern Conference football championships. They've gone, they've been competitive in basketball under a number of different coaches. So it can be done. So anyway, happy to have him in the state. Looking forward to talking to him. No doubt he's going to do a great job as the AD there at El Cid. And a couple of other quick notes. Phone number 888-898-2525 is the number. A couple of other things I wanted to mention. Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports, covering the meetings in New Orleans. And he said SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey declined to discuss particulars around any future playoff format starting in 2026, citing the fact that the SEC and the Big Ten first, quote, end quote, the other commissioners their thoughts before sharing publicly. That means let's have a meeting, guys, and we will tell you what we think, and that means we will tell you what's going to happen, and you will agree. SEC ADs and coaches did discuss the potential to moving to 9 conference games Monday and Tuesday. Sankey said they've not made the decision, but according to Dellinger, it does sound like several people in the room at first against 9 games are rethinking their position. Me personally, I'm all for 9 league games. And I'm also, of course, not interested in impacting the rivalry games. As long as it does not impact the rivalry games, more SEC games, the better. I mean, seriously. Now, I know coaches are going to want automatic bids. They're going to want those automatic bids to kind of offset what they know are going to be some losses. And I get that. But let's just say you're South Carolina. I mean, pretty doggone attractive schedule if you play 9 league games and you play Clemson. Now, this is assuming they stick with a 12-game schedule. You play 9 league games, you play Clemson. Those are 10 games. If they do something with the Big Ten and you draw a Big Ten opponent every year, that's 11. And then you schedule a win. You schedule a non-return game, a game, that you pay for and you don't have to return it, and you pretty much get yourself a win there. That would be a pretty good 12-game schedule. So we'll see what happens with that. ESPN reporting the South Carolina-UConn women's game drew 1.8 million viewers. They peaked at 2.2 million viewers. The LSU-Texas game drew 1.7 million, peaking at 2.3. The Auburn-Alabama men's game drew 2.8, peaking at 3.5. The Kentucky and Texas game drew 1.5. Meantime, Front Office Sports reporting the NBA All-Star Game with their new tournament-style format averaged 4.7 million across the TNT platforms. That's down 13% compared to last year, and one of the poorest showings in a long time for that game. Second least watched NBA All-Star Game ahead of only the 2023 game, which was $4.6 million. The last 3 NBA All-Star games have all averaged under $6 million. The only 3 in NBA history that have not breached that threshold. You think maybe there's a message there. Like I said last night, if you don't watch, they'll listen. And so people don't like what the NBA is doing with their All-Star game. You know, they don't like the fact that they've taken the All-Star game and turned it into whatever it is you want to call it. Pretty obvious. People aren't watching. So I don't know. I think the game, if the players played it like a real NBA game, is enough to draw the interest.
Relax. Start your journey with a new auto loan. Get on the road with an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. From city streets to off-road trails, your journey begins here. Our low fixed rates can get you on the road in a ride that fits your lifestyle and budget with no payments for up to 90 days. You can apply for a pre-approved spending limit even before you start shopping. Visit one of our many convenient office locations or go to foundersfcu.com/auto to apply for an auto loan today. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosteller Brown. Did you know your will is designed for your assets to pass through the probate court? If you want to keep your loved ones out of court, a revocable trust is a great place to start. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information and to see how we can help.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Hi, this is Major Billy Downer, and coming up tonight at 7:30, it's another edition of SC Wild from the Department of Natural Resources on the Sports Talk Media Network.
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people, and it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
Wide open, somebody pour me a drink, somebody bum me a smoke. I'm about to get on a buzz, I'm about to get on a roll. Yeah, I've been breaking my back, just keeping up with the Joneses. Y'all know what I mean, and y'all know how it goes. When it's up on a Friday, 9 pay, sliding over my way. I can't even think when.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Going back on that last comment about the NBA. I mean, if they just maybe tried and go back and put sports first and put the game first, how about that? Maybe you put the game first besides what you view as certain entertainment value. And maybe if you just drew up a real basketball game and told these guys, hey, you know, let's coach it right, let's play it right. Maybe you pay them more. Maybe you give them some incentives financially. I don't know. The game has got to be the thing. The problem when you turn it over to television and you let television people run things is the game becomes secondary. It's all the other stuff around it that they believe is what drives the audience. I don't think so. I'm no expert on TV ratings. I'm no expert on programming television. I'm an expert on a lot of things. That's not one of them. But I can tell you this, as a sports fan, the game is the thing. It's not the halftime show. It's not the pregame show. It's not all the other bluster around it. Give me the damn game in its purest form, and you'll have me watching. And you'll have, you know, millions of others like me watching as well. I think that message has been lost by these people, if you ask me. Okay, update from over at Ray Tanner Field. Bottom of the seventh, 3-0. Bases are juiced with 1 out. So the Gamecocks looking to expand this thing. I tell you, they're pitching. They got another shutout going. And going into last night's game against Winthrop, the Gamecocks had a team ERA of 1.08. And against Winthrop, they won that game 5-3. And the Gamecocks gave up don't think they committed an error. Let me double check here. Yeah, they did not commit an error. They've only committed one error all season. So all 3 runs off of Jarvis Evans, they were earned. So the ERA, I haven't figured it up, including last night's numbers. So it's a little bit higher than that, but it's still extremely well. Pitching well and fielding well. Maybe not scoring the number of runs that Pulmonary hoped they would score right now. Maybe not getting the number of hits, though they did have 10 hits last night. Maybe not getting the number of hits that he likes to see. As he's talked about, he prefers hits over walks. Last night, the Gamecocks drew only 2 walks, and they had those 10 hits. They did strike out 11 times. Maybe they were a little bit more aggressive at the plate last night, which is why they walked less and struck out more last night against Winthrop. So South Carolina going for that 5th straight win right now, looking to add to their lead 3-0, bottom of the 7th, 2 away, and the bases loaded. The rest of the basketball schedule, or the basketball schedule for tonight, you've got Vanderbilt playing at Kentucky. You got Arkansas at Auburn. You have got Missouri. This should be the game of the night in these parts. You got Missouri. This is a matchup of top 20 teams. You got Missouri and Alabama in Columbia, Missouri. That's number 4 against number 15. Also tonight, Wofford at VMI. Actually, that game is underway. Wofford out to a 23-14 lead. Winthrop plays at Presbyterian tonight. Charleston Southern will be at High Point. SMU plays at Notre Dame. NC State at North Carolina. Man, those 2 fan bases, still an intense rivalry, but they are suffering through the kind of seasons they're not used to at both places, especially State coming off a Final Four appearance last year, really struggling. Mercer at the Citadel tonight. It'll be Furman at Samford, and Arkansas playing at Auburn, Miami at Florida State. Those are the games in the state and the games in the SEC and the ACC tonight. Of course, high school basketball action continues around the state where the weather is not interfering with games. Some games have been postponed. We'll go through those brackets when we have a chance. But if you have a chance, get out and watch some high school basketball tonight. But I tell you, some of the scores last night in girls 1A, we had one score of 114 to 14. 114 to 14 in girls high school basketball. That had to be really painful to watch, whether you were in the game or in the stands. All right, back in just a moment. Don't go away.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We are cold and wet. Some showers, a low of 31. Tomorrow there could be some spots with ice. We might even see snow flurries early on. Things do clear out with sunshine in the afternoon, and the high tops out at 43. Tomorrow night's low is a frigid 21. Friday looking nicer, a high of 47 to go with sunshine-filled skies. I'm Cal Moss with your
money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting President Trump's administration has ordered a halt to New York City's congestion pricing system, which thins traffic and funds mass transit by imposing high tolls on drivers entering some parts of Manhattan. Launched on January 5th, the city's system uses license plate readers to impose a $9 toll on most passenger cars entering Manhattan neighborhoods south of Central Park. A mid-air collision involving two small planes in southern Arizona has killed two people. Federal air safety investigators said each plane had 2 people aboard when they collided near Marana Regional Airport on the outskirts of Tucson. National Transportation Safety Board says one plane landed uneventfully. The other hit a ground near a runway and caught fire. More details at srnnews.com.
I sure like to brag about good local businesses. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is a great local biz. Josh and his team stress customer service as their top priority. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning came out to my house. I had a toilet that wasn't working right, a garbage disposal that died. They came out right on time, told me everything they were going to do, and explained the price of each repair before even bringing in the tools. I knew exactly what I was getting and exactly what it would cost. Their prices are fair. Their team is courteous and professional. Plus, they did a great job fixing what needed fixing in my home. I am very careful about making any recommendations, and I'm thrilled and confident to suggest you call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning for any plumbing needs. If it's a repair or to replace something, if it's that tankless water heater that you've always wanted to give you that endless hot water and save you some money. They unclog drain and sewer lines and so much more. Online, you'll find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com or just give Josh and those great folks a phone call, 799-2222. That's 799-2222, and tell them you heard about them from here at The Point.
Spring is just around the corner, whether the groundhog says so or not. Get ready with Palmetto State Armory, your go-to spot for all things outdoors. Reel in your best catch with top brands like Shimano, Zoom, and Spro, used by pro anglers everywhere. And for our Spring Legion members, we've got everything you need for turkey hunting. Shotguns from Benelli, Browning, and Beretta, plus premium gear from Sitka and Nomad. Visit us at one of our 9 retail locations or shop online at palmettostatearmory.com.
Hun, did you see the power bill? I feel like we're trying to cool the outside with these old original windows from the house.
Yeah, they are old. They let the cool air out and the hot air in, plus they're really ugly. I think it's time we finally get those new windows.
I think we need to call Redbird Windows and Doors.
Oh yeah, they've got the Miller's house up the street.
I got their card when I was talking to the Millers. Here it is, Redbird Windows and Doors, 727-0561. Oh, and let's look at their website too, redbirdwindows.com.
Give me that number again, please.
727-0561.
Relax. Start your journey with a new auto loan. Get ready for a season of adventure. Escape the ordinary and get on the road with an auto loan from Founders Federal Credit Union. From city streets to off-road trails, your journey begins here. Our low fixed rates can get you on the road in a ride that fits your lifestyle and your budget. Featuring no payments for up to 90 days. Simply apply early for a pre-approved spending limit before you even start shopping. Let a Founders representative be your trusted advisor to make sure your purchase makes sense for you and your finances. Ask for a free auto insurance quote for a personalized plan to protect your purchase. Founders also offers mechanical breakdown protection that is competitive with most warranty plans available at dealerships. Visit one of our many convenient office locations or go to foundersfcu.com/auto to apply for an auto loan today or to see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
To 8, feeling just right. Phil, Chris, and Josh, they're in the zone. Across South Carolina, they're well known. Sports talk, bringing the heat. Talking sports, can't be beat. Tune in, don't you pout. It's a show you can't live without.
Okay, we're back. Sports Talk Media Network. Gamecocks did not score. That bases loaded situation. Bases loaded, less than 2 out. Bottom of the 7th, they were leading 3-0. And let's see what happened in that inning that got the Gamecocks out of it with no runs. They had a leadoff single to the infield, then a bunt, then a walk, then a single to third, loading the bases, then a strikeout and a fly ball to center. So the Gamecocks did not score, left the bases loaded, still lead 3-0 top of the 8th. In a little bit, we'll have Coach Brad Brownell with us from Clemson, so stay tuned for that. And in just a moment, we're going to get to the recruiting report tonight. I want to catch up on high school basketball in South Carolina from last night as the state tournaments continued last night, and they are scheduled to continue tonight, weather permitting, around the state. All depends on travel situations and if they are able to get to the to the gyms. We've got games tonight in boys 5A Division One. They'll be playing games tonight. Again, depending on the weather, they'll be playing games tonight. Also tonight, or let's see, we may have some scores to tell you about from last night as we go through the brackets. Again, sticking on the boys' side of things, the next games in boys Division 2 will be on the 21st. They did have games last night. Greenwood beat Hillcrest 64-60. Catawba Ridge 45, T.L. Hanna 44. Easley beat Northwestern 57-47. Woodmont 79, Nation Ford 43. Also, Westwood was a winner over North Myrtle Beach 60-35. Irmo 70, Socastee 50. It was Myrtle Beach 52, White Knoll 47. Lugoff Elgin 58, Lucy Beckham 41. All right, sticking with the boys, checking on 4A, and let's see, the 4A guys, they don't play again until the 20th. They played a couple of nights ago, so they don't play again until tomorrow. 3A boys, and they had games last night. Chapman beat Broome 66-49. St. Joseph's topped Crescent 52-34. Union over Pendleton, Union County 53-47. Christ Church beat West Oak 65-44. Powdersville, a winner 80-52 over GMCC. Is that Greer Middle College? GMCC. Woodruff 66-28 over Walhalla. Palmetto beat Mountain View Prep 63-56, and Belton Honeypath down Southside Christian 62-48. Lower State, Loris was a winner 39-37. Sorry, I can't read. Once again, the page is too big. I don't understand this, but I can't see the entire page. But I can tell you that Loris won 39-37. North Charleston won its game 61-59. Orangeburg Wilkinson 59-47. Fox Creek won 88-54. Keenan advanced 62-23. Dillon was a winner 74-56. Georgetown won its game 80-40, and Oceanside Collegiate was a winner 85-15. Wow. And they'll play next on Friday. The 2A boys, taking a look at that bracket, and they had games last night. So High Point, a winner over Chesterfield, 68-45. And Batesburg-Leesville. Batesburg-Leesville defeated Eau Claire 60-55. York Prep was a winner over Landrum, 67-62. Liberty knocked off Fairfield Central 43-41. Chesney over Pillion 79-52. Central 82-80 over Blacksburg. Strom Thurmond beat Columbia 50-42. Lower State, Hampton County, a winner over Edisto 56-35. Burke beat Marion 69-67. Andrew Jackson over Well Branch 95-47. Manning defeated Woodland 72-66. Atlantic Collegiate over Chiron 89-47. Bridges Prep knocked off Timberland 51-41. Philip Simmons topped Lake City 69-34. And Mullins defeated Lake Marion 78-60. And these guys, they'll play again on Saturday the 21st. And the 1A boys high school basketball tournament, they played a couple of days ago, gave you those scores, and they will play again tonight, scheduled to, based on, of course, the weather situations. To the girls' brackets, 5A girls, last night, Dorman was a winner over Malden, 63 to, looks like 41. Lexington beat Boiling Springs 72 to 40. Rock Hill over River Bluff 74-57. Burns beat Spartanburg 70 to 47. Lower State, James Island a winner over Sumter 27-21. Ridgeview beat Stall 85-21. Spring Valley defeated Stratford 75-37. West Ashley over Fort Dorchester 85 to 39. That was girls 5A Division 1. Division 2, they played a couple of nights ago. We gave you those scores. They're not scheduled to play again until tomorrow night. So let's go to 4A girls. Look at that bracket. 4A girls bracket state tournament. They played last night. South Point beat Bluffton 90 to 12. Wren over Travelers Rest 54-44. Lancaster down Fountain Inn 51-32. Blue Ridge top Greer 49-41. AC Flora over Seneca 66-48. Daniel top Richland Northeast 64-23. Camden over Lawrence 74-20. Westside beat Southside 73-29. In the lower state, North Augusta over Lakewood 68 to, I can't tell, maybe 11? Something that starts with a 1. It was a blowout. Aiken over May River 72 to 50. Wilson down South Aiken 47-24. Gray Collegiate top Crestwood 71-37. Beaufort over Airport 48-26. Bishop England down Hilton Head 61-32. Darlington top South Florence 52 to 40. And Gilbert lost to Lower Richland. LR won it 71 to 27. Some of these games are ridiculous. 3A girls statewide brackets, and they played a couple of nights ago, and they are scheduled to continue their tournament tonight, weather permitting. We go to the 2A brackets, 2A girls bracket, and they played a couple of nights ago, scheduled to play again tomorrow night. That leaves us with the 1A girls bracket. I think they played last night, and they did. In the upstate, Louisville beat Dixie 36-24. Hunter Conard Tyler over McCormick 73-21. Lee Central beat Thornwell 75-6. 75-6. Ridge Spring Minetta over Calhoun Falls 53-43. Williston Elko beat Great Falls 48-11. C.A. Johnson topped Ware Shoals 64-18. Abbeville over Calhoun County 41-24. North beat McBee 48-31. In the lower state, Military Magnet 114, Hemingway 14. 114-14. Bamberg Earhart beat St. John 63-19. Latta beat Cross 66-36. Ridgeland Academy School of Excellence, a winner over Green Sea Floyd's 46-40. Carver's Bay over Allendale Fairfax 49-16. Scotts Branch beat Lakeview 54-23. Denmark Oler over Baptist Hill, I'm assuming Baptist Hill, 67-19. And Bethune-Bowman defeated Johnsonville 54-22. All right, there you go with that. Let's do the recruiting report before you hit the break. Want to get all those in. Going to try to keep you up to date because I know sometimes it's hard to find all the statewide scores. We do have the links on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. Very easy to go to our website, click on our story, and just go to the individual links. Takes you to the high school league site where they are placing the scores. So very simple way to do it. All right, recruiting report here on Sports Talk. It is brought to you by, of course, our good friends over at Seawells. Check out their brand new, newly designed website. It's beautiful. Shows you everything going on at Seawells. That would include hosting your very special event or coming to your location for that special event. For more information, give them a call at 803-771-7385, online at SeawellsCateringSC.com, and another day of the luncheon Daily Luncheon Buffet coming up on Thursday.
Another beautiful day, sliced beef brisket, southern fried chicken, fried pork chops, and shrimp Alfredo.
The shrimp Alfredo just sort of tops it off. Make sure you get over there for it. 11 till 2 tomorrow and again on Friday at Seawells, the very best in the catering business. On the recruiting front, center Grant Wise, 6'3", 310 out of Milton, Florida. He and Clemson, they have a long history as he's gone to Clemson many, many times, and he's headed back to Clemson for their upcoming Junior Day, March the 8th. And he's already set an official visit with the Tigers for their official visit weekend of May 30th. He talks a lot, he said, with offensive line coach Matt Luke and his assistant Carson Kramer. They check in with him about every week. They've let him know that he is an important recruit for them at the center position, and he's told them he likes them a lot as well. He is also looking at spring visits to LSU, Florida, Florida State, Miami, and possibly Tennessee and Oregon. He's not set any other official visits, but Miami, Tennessee, Alabama, and Oregon are the other ones he's considering. He did say there's a couple of schools standing out the most to him right now, but he did not want to disclose those two schools at this time. Earlier this year, he attended Junior Days at Texas A&M, Alabama, and Tennessee, and he also visited Florida. USC and Clemson target offensive tackle Darius Gray has set an official visit with Auburn. He had previously set official visits with Clemson, USC, Tennessee, LSU, and Penn State. USC target cornerback Kerry Adams has added an official visit to Southern Cal on June the 3rd. USC commitment linebacker Keenan Britt was offered by Oklahoma State. USC target defensive tackle Brian Harris set up an official to Stanford for May 16th. Running back Messiah Mickens of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, who has talked about visiting USC, set an official visit to Penn State for May 29th. He is a Penn State commitment. USC target linebacker Nick Abrams sets an official to Oregon April 19th. Clemson offered cornerback Aiden Pouncey, 6'3", 185 of Winter Park, Florida. He has an official visit to Miami set for May the 30th. Clemson commitment cornerback Shavar Young was offered by Florida State and Georgia Tech. He's got an official to Clemson on May 30th. Clemson target defensive tackle Cameron Cody of Savannah. Officials to Arizona State April 4th, Indiana June 13th. Clemson target receiver Connor Salmon, Purcellville, Virginia, sets an official to Penn State for June 6th. He's got Clemson May 30th. Offensive tackle Zayden Crimpin, Prosper, Texas. Officials with LSU and SMU and Texas and Michigan. Clemson's also involved. He plans to visit Clemson this spring. Mountain View Prep running back Jalen McGill was offered by Cincinnati. There you go with the recruiting report tonight. Remember to check it out regularly on our website. Check out our stories, our notes on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. If you go to our X is SC Sports Now, SC Sports Now, SC Sports Now on X, and do the search for ST Recruiting. It'll take you right to our stuff. And we'll hit the break. Be back in a moment here on Sports Talk.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Hi, this is Major Billy Downer, and coming up tonight at 7:30, it's another edition of SC Wild from the Department of Natural Resources on the Sports Talk Media Network.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
We're with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer, let's say I'm out in the woods or I'm on the water and I need to reach a DNR agent. How do I do that?
Operation Game Thief, Phil. It's been around 30-plus years. You can call us at our 24-hour hotline any time of day, 1-800-922-5431. To report wildlife violations or to get help if you're in trouble in the woods or on the water, call us at Operation Game Thief, 1-800-922-5431.
Now back to Phil, Chris, and Josh with Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Meet me at the London. If you find time, we can run one. Talk about some things we can undo. You just in the pen, I can find you. 6-1 on the money, 9-2. You just say the word and I run through. 2 texts, no reply, that's when I
All right, 4-2 now, South Carolina, bottom of the 8th. Queens scoring a couple of runs in the top of the 8th. 4-2. Gamecocks have second and third. One away. Bottom of the 8th against Queens. All right, don't forget Brad Brownell at 7:05, SC Wild at 7:35. Right now, though, a special visit from our special friend. You hear him on Monday nights during football season, the coach, Zach Willis, but he's joining us tonight for a special cause up in the Kentucky area where he lives. Welcome in, Coach. How are you?
Doing great, Phil. How you guys doing?
We're trying to stay warm.
So it's pretty chilly up here. I don't think it got above 25 today up here. I'm calling, and Phil, appreciate you doing this. As you know, we talk about Sarah a lot, my lovely hillbilly wife. And we have had real bad flooding up here this year, and it's been followed up now by a pretty good sized snowstorm today. And folks are really needing some help over in far eastern Kentucky. People have been wiped out of their homes, a lot like what happened in western North Carolina. I don't know how much coverage is getting down there, but we wanted to reach out, and I'm going to let Sarah kind of take over and talk to folks about how they can make a difference. But I told her people in South Carolina are some of the most giving people in the world. She's lived down there. She knows it. And we've already had folks, fans of the show that follow us on Facebook, already donating. And she's got a lot of family. I've got a lot of family over there. And we would greatly appreciate it and want to say thanks to the whole Sports Talk family, Phil.
Thank you. We'll say hello to Miss Sarah. And thank you, Zach.
Hello, Mr. Phil. I really want people to understand that this is actually me. I don't know if people are going to believe that it's me because every time Zach's on his show, it has first and 10 with Zach Willis of the British lady. But this is actually how I sound. So.
Well, we can make you sound. We can help you sound British if you'd like to sound British.
Oh gosh, I don't think that would work.
No, you sound pure Kentuckian.
Yep. Born and bred in eastern Kentucky. Zach and I now live about an hour south of Lexington. So we've moved a little bit away, but we're about 2 hours from where my family lives. And my parents and my sisters and my, people I went to high school with are all, still back home. And the rain really got heavy about 20 miles east of us. There was actually one person that lost their lives. And, it's a lot of people. Someone that my mom works with, he and his wife had a baby, and 3 days later their home was completely underwater. So so there are a lot of people that are hurting right now. They need a lot of help. They need a lot of support. And I know the people of the Carolinas understand this, just because of the hurricanes that you all have gotten hit with, especially in North Carolina this year and the western part of South Carolina. There, you all have had some really bad weather. So I think that they kind of understand and can empathize with that. So I really appreciate you bringing us on here to spread a little bit of awareness about it. And I've shared a lot of pictures, a lot of footage of what's going on. One of my sisters, she had to go stay with my parents for a while. Both of my sisters lost power and water, so they had to help go live with family for a little bit. They're back home now, so we're very thankful and blessed for that. But it's been pretty scary. My niece was actually visiting one of her grandmothers, and they had to be evacuated by boat. And so it's actually affected me, personally. She's only 3 years old, and it scared her. So it's affected me personally, and hit home this time, literally and figuratively.
No, so, I can tell in your voice. And what can people do? What have you got set up, or people who want to help? What should they do?
Okay, so there are a lot of different avenues they can go on. The one that I know about, I shared on my Facebook page and my Instagram page. So it's if they go there, I have shared a link that one of the local schools has put together. It's an Amazon link that has all the items that are needed. They can go in there and they can just click and add to their cart, purchase it, and it goes straight to the donation center, where you can be assured that it will be used for those flood victims. That's the one that I'm using, and the one that my sisters have used, and the one that they're sharing. I know that one of my sisters, I think that she shared her church's link. If they want to go that route and go through the church, they can.
Real quick, we got less than a minute, but what are some of the most needed items?
Personal care items, hygiene items, cleaning items, any type of, cleaning items and things like that. But you can go to, my Facebook is Sarah Willis, Sarah with no H, and my Instagram is Sarah Willis ISBB Pro. If anyone wants to go on there, I have shared the information on there as well.
Well, we wish you all the best. I'm glad you guys are safe and doing well there in London, Kentucky, and we wish your family and all your friends the best. I know it's tough when natural disasters like this happen, so we're pulling for you and hopefully helping you out here with people around the state listening who want to help out with what's going on over there. So thanks for reaching out, and keep us in the loop with what's going on with you guys.
Yes, sir, I sure will. I'll also post those links down in the live chat of the YouTube channel, and I appreciate it so much, Bill, Zach, and I love you. Tell your wife we said hello, and I hope you have a great night.
You too. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
That is Miss Sarah Willis. She is truly, shall we say, not only the brains, but the muscle behind the family. There with Coach Zach Willis. Keeps him in line, that's for dang sure. And if you can help, you want to help, and you can help, please think about helping. Okay, top of the hour break. Clemson basketball coach Brad Brownell coming up when we come back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. President Trump stunned Senate Republicans with an endorsement of the House GOP budget plan. Speaker Mike Johnson reacted positively. Correspondent Bernie Bennett has more.
President Donald Trump threw a major wrench into Senate Majority Leader John Thune's planned vote later this week on the Senate's GOP budget blueprint by endorsing the House's blueprint instead. House Speaker Mike Johnson was quick to latch on to Trump's support, celebrating the endorsement on X as GOP leadership now moves to whip votes and win over stragglers from swing states who are, quote, wary of the major cuts to safety net programs sketched out in the House budget framework. The Speaker is planning to put the spending package on the floor for a vote next week. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Former U.S. Senator Kelly Loeffler of Georgia has been confirmed to serve as administrator of the Small Business Administration. Bob Agnew reports.
By a vote of 52 to 46, the Senate confirmed Loeffler, who served a brief stint representing Georgia in the upper chamber before losing in a special election back in 2021. She has a strong background in big business, but her focus now will be on small business owners. Majority Leader John Thune told colleagues entrepreneurs are one of the country's greatest assets, and that, in his words, Senator Loeffler will be their champion. Bob Agnew reporting.
President Trump says his administration will ensure a major natural gas pipeline in Alaska gets built.
That's drawn new attention to a project that has been a long-standing dream for Alaska leaders, but has languished amid shifting markets. And the massive cost of such an undertaking, pipeline supporters have been trying for years to develop Alaska's vast stores of North Slope gas.
That's correspondent John Scott reporting. On Wall Street, the Dow by 71 points, the Nasdaq rose 15, with the S&P 500 advancing 14. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Heard me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF for Relief Factor.
I'm going to let you in on a little wireless hack that can cut your cell phone bill in half. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile have convinced you need unlimited data. Fact is, most people don't. Pure Talk only charges $25 a month for unlimited talk, text, and 5 gigs of data plus hotspot. Stop overpaying for wireless. Dial pound 250 and say spend less, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month with Pure Talk.
Cable.
There are claims that Pakistan wants to imminently remove Afghan refugees from the country.
The latest development comes more than 2 weeks after Pakistan's government threatened to deport Afghan nationals living in the country illegally. The embassy has issued a strongly worded statement about Pakistan's plans. It says Afghan nationals in the capital and a nearby city have been subjected to arrests, searches, and orders from the police to leave and relocate to other parts of Pakistan. The statement added there was no formal announcement of Islamabad's plans, but claimed Pakistan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has a definitive plan to deport all Afghan refugees from the country in the near future. I'm Lawrence Brooks.
Crews are working to fix a large water main break that left dozens of people in a Detroit, Michigan neighborhood without power and heat. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We are cold and wet. Some showers, a low of 31. Tomorrow there could be some spots with ice where you might even see snow flurries early on. Things do clear out with sunshine in the afternoon, and the high tops out at 43. Tomorrow night's low is a frigid 21. Friday looking nicer, a high of 47 to go with sunshine-filled skies. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
The Point. The Point. Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Busy hour of Sports Talk ahead for you. SC Wild at 7:35 with Major Downer. He'll have a special guest coming up, so stay tuned for that. Checking in on baseball, 7-2, South Carolina over Queens in the top of the ninth. And in basketball, Wofford leads VMI 44-17 at the half. Kentucky 8-7 on Vanderbilt. Winthrop 8-0 on PC. And SMU, Clemson's next opponent, leading Notre Dame 8-3. North Carolina 3-0 on NC State. These games just getting underway. Good time to have with us Clemson basketball coach Brad Brownell. Coming back to Sports Talk. Good to have him as the Tigers are red hot, one of the best teams in the country, rising in the rankings, moving up in the brackets. I'm sure Coach has one eye on SMU and one ear on us. And we welcome you in, sir. How are you?
Doing good, Phil. Thanks.
Congratulations on the season to date. How you feeling? How you feeling about things at this stage?
Yeah, I feel good. We're healthy right now, which is good. And we had a week this week kind of between games, so we had the bye, so didn't play midweek game. Got to work Monday, Tuesday. We took today off, and obviously we're watching the SMU game here tonight, and we'll get back on that and get ready to go Thursday, Friday for SMU down in Dallas on Saturday.
Yeah, kind of a dangerous game. This SMU team is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, they are. Andy's done a really good job there in his first year at SMU. They play fast, shoot the ball well, have experienced older guards, and then have good size inside. So, yeah, they're a good team and certainly be a good challenge for us.
You mentioned the week off this week as far as midweek goes, giving your guys a chance to heal up a little bit. Know that Ian Shefflin's been dealing with that, like a calf thing that has flared up on him from time to time, been fighting with that a lot of the season. Is he going to be – has he gotten healthy? Will he be healthy the rest of the way?
Yeah, it's not 100%. He's got it. He's had a bunch of different things, a calf strain, and he's had a lot of tightness in his back. That's just, it's hard for him every day to practice. So we really modify it. And then he hurt his wrist the other day, fell on his wrist in the middle of one of the games. I mean, he just plays so hard that he's one of those guys that seems to always have, lingering issues. And that's kind of the way it is for guys who are as competitive he is, big as he is, the physicality inside. A lot of those guys by this time of year are just, bumps and bruises and banging around. And but I think he's going to be fine in terms of able to play, but we just got to be really careful with him in the off days.
When you saw him in high school, what did you like about him? Because to be honest with you, when I first saw him as a freshman at Clemson, I'm like, gosh, this guy, is he going to ever develop and be able to help? And my gosh, what a work ethic and just self-development and development by the coaching staff who's made him into a force in the ACC.
Well, he's, we thought he was a very competitive kid who had great hands and just pursued the ball. We thought he'd be a really good rebounder. He was a high school center, so he wasn't, he's not really, he's probably might be 6'8", so he's not really big enough to play a lot of center for us, but sometimes he's had to do that. But he's probably a little more athletic vertically than people realize. He gets off the ground pretty quick and has such good, powerful legs that he can hold his position. And then his competitiveness helps him rebound. And then, as he's grown and gotten better, he's really developed some of his perimeter skills. He's become a pretty good passer, and he's a guy who can make some threes. And so his game has really expanded. But he was just kind of a third guy on a very good high school team, and obviously because of that, a lot of people didn't recruit him.
I got to think that the play of Victor Larkin here of late is a big reason why you guys are playing so well, and you beat Duke and you blew out North Carolina and you go down and you blow out Florida State. It appears to me as if he's taken his game to another level.
Yeah, he has. I just think he's he's one of our most important players just because of he can play well on both ends. Number one, he can protect our basket. He does a good job of timing on shot blocks, and because of his length at 6'11", he can really alter things around the rim. He's also good in pick and roll. He can play a couple different coverages because he's athletic enough to move around and do some different things that way. And then offensively, his three-point shot has come around a little bit. He's gotten more consistent with that and probably just gotten a little more comfortable in our high-low offense. And so, yeah, he's played very well. He's gotten better and better the longer the season's gone, and certainly that's been a big help to our team.
When he hits that three, like he did, I think it was early in the North Carolina game, I think the very first shot he hit a three. What does that do for you guys offensively, and what does it make the opposing defense do moving forward?
Yeah, obviously it's a big part of what we do. When he and Ian Shefflin are both capable of making threes, it stretches the defense, right? We we are a little bit old school. We do a little bit of a high-low offense in many possessions in our offense. It's a lot of our staple, and so having a guy like P.J. Hall who can do that, it stretches the defense. It makes you have one-on-one coverage in the low post, and then it gives more space for the guards on different actions away from the basket. So certainly it's a big part of what we do, and finding guys that can shoot the three it's an important part of our game.
Talking to Brad Brownell, Clemson basketball coach tonight. Tigers are getting ready to go to SMU, coming off that win at Florida State last Saturday. The lineup that you've gone with here recently, with the three guards and bringing Chauncey Wiggins in off the bench, seems to be working very well. Do you plan to stick with that?
Yeah, at least for a little while longer. It's been really good. We've kind of considered Dylan Hunter almost a sixth starter all year, and so we started Chauncey a bunch most of the year, and then kind of went to a switch when Chauncey was sick for a game, and have just kind of stayed with Dylan the last three games. But just about in all these games, both those guys are going to play anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. Just kind of depends on the game. But it's been good for us. It gives us a little more speed on the perimeter. It gives us another ball handler, and I think then Chauncey Wiggins, who's really he's wired to score. I think when he comes off the bench, that gives us another guy who can play two different positions. So he can come in at the wing, or he can come in at the power forward spot, and he can shoot the ball and stretch the defense a little bit. So it gives us a couple options that way.
You look at your schedule, and I mean you're down to only two home games: Notre Dame and Virginia Tech. You finish up with three road games. You just had a road game, so it's a little bit top heavy with road games here to finish up the regular season. How do you feel about going on the road so much here late? Can that be maybe in some way a good thing to kind of toughen your team up getting ready for the NCAA?
Yeah, we'll see. We've played very well on the road, not in Columbia, but in a lot of other places this year we have. We've actually, I think, won 5 in a row on the road. So we have an older group that's been able to handle themselves away from home and been very focused and gotten off to some good starts on the road. And that's probably helped a little bit as well. But, yeah, it's just part of what you got to deal with. We're kind of at that point now where we're almost done, but we've got 3 more away from home, 2 more in Little John. We certainly love being in Little John, but I don't think this team minds where they play so much. Just having an older team, I think, really helps with that.
When you think about where you are now, this is your third straight 20-plus win season. You're going to go to your second straight NCAA. Should be your third straight NCAA, to be quite honest with you. You won 14 games 3 years ago. You didn't make it in the tournament, 14 league games, and you're probably going to top that this year. But, I mean, when you look at where your program is now, how do you feel about it?
Well, there's a lot of pride. Certainly it's been a lot of hard work to get to this point. I'm very grateful in the administration for being patient with us. I think they saw that we were doing some really good things behind the scenes, and we were building our program, improving our facilities, doing a lot of things that really hadn't been done at Clemson, and you just have to do if you're going to have any kind of consistent success. And so, that happened around 2017-18 is when it kind of started to flip for us, and we've been fairly consistent since that point. And I think a big part of it is just the commitment that the university's made to men's basketball, and then us just proving that we can get things done. And we've had some guys go to the NBA. We've had some NCAA tournament success. We've done a little bit better in the league. And so, it's one of those things you can talk to recruits about. You can get anything you want done at Clemson. And obviously we're trying to get to a Final Four. That's kind of next on the agenda. And maybe this will be the team that can get us there.
Well, you were so close last year, 13-point lead, as you know, against Alabama. Then a guy named Sears came along, and Pringle. Nick Pringle had a big game against you. But you had a great run, and Chase Hunter was phenomenal. Now, he didn't score a whole lot against Florida State, and you guys won by a ton, which I think maybe as a head coach, you got to like that, don't you?
Yeah, it's funny. They tried to face guard Chase and kind of just take him away from our team and take him out of the game. And, Chase was really good about not forcing shots, and just, we played 4-on-4 in a lot of ways. And because of that, there was a lot of space to get in the lane and do other things. And so we kept getting good shots, and it really helped us that night. So but again, Chase, he's done it a bunch of different ways for us. He's done it with the assists, he's done it with his defense, he's done it scoring. He's having a phenomenal season, and just really proud of his development and growth as a player.
You've said here tonight, and you've said in press conferences, older team, and that really is important. How do you keep a team old year after year? Is it possible?
Well, it's hard. You got to retain a lot of players. You got to retain players, and we've been fortunate to do that. Most guys, most years we've been able to keep. You're not going to keep everybody. There's always going to be a couple guys that want to play a little more, and that's understandable. But you got to keep a good core. You got to keep 4 or 5 guys around year to year that kind of get into your system, get older, understand what you want as a coach, that hopefully are some of your better players, and then you try to sprinkle in a couple other guys that can really help, and that's been our formula here the last couple of years.
Will you, in the off season, have to go into the transfer portal for a couple of pieces?
Yeah, I'm sure we will. I think we'll probably need at least 1 or 2 more guys, some older guys that will help fill it out. We're going to be a little younger though next year. We've got several freshmen. We got 3 freshmen signed. We've got a couple kids redshirting. We've got a freshman or 2 on this year's team. So we're going to be a little bit younger, and so we'll probably need to add 1 or 2 older pieces just to help balance the classes out a little bit.
It took a little while. Well, you were in the poll early, and then you've dropped out. Took a little while for the AP voters to come around and get you guys back in there. You're up to number 18, and I think bracketologists right now kind of have you on the 6th line. You think you're getting the respect you deserve, or is that about right?
Yeah, I don't worry too much about that, Phil. We just try to win the next game. If we take care of business, do what we're supposed to do, all those things will take care of themselves. It's nice for the program. It's good for our fans. It's fun to talk about, all those kinds of things, but it really doesn't do a lot in terms of what matters. Certainly the bracketology stuff is probably a little more important, but I don't get caught up whether we're 18th, 23rd, or receiving votes. I just want us to continue to play better and keep trying to get to March with a chance to advance. So that's kind of our goal at the beginning of every season, and then we see how it goes from there.
How fun was it for you last March as you made the trip through, I guess you started in Memphis and went on from there?
Yeah, it was terrific. We had such a good group of guys, and, we were coming off a bad game in the ACC tournament that, I think our guys were highly motivated, and actually we got a couple extra days of practice because of that, and I think that juiced us up. We kind of got back to being who we are, and I think just giving us a chance to go into the tournament fresh was really good, and obviously we played really, really well. We beat a very good New Mexico team in the first game, and then, beat Baylor in the second round, and that got us a chance to play Arizona out in Los Angeles, which was, felt like a road game, but, man, our guys just played with tremendous confidence and played at a very high level, and as you know, we're a minute or 2 away from having a chance to go a Final Four. So it was a great ride. I was really happy for our fans and for everybody that had been supporting me over the years, and really for our players, guys like PJ and Chase and Ian and Joe Girard, some guys that had really put in time, and it was good to see those guys enjoy that.
Which kind of brings up an interesting question. You mentioned the early loss in the ACC tournament gave you a chance to go home, rest, practice, get ready for the NCAA, but would you trade that? Because, look, if things go well, you're going to be looked at as a team that could win the ACC tournament championship, something Clemson's never done. Would you like to win an ACC tournament championship?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I have not done a very good job in the ACC tournament. That's been something that I've got to do a better job with my team. And so certainly given our team this year, we'd love to advance as deep as we can into that tournament and maybe give ourselves a chance to win something special. That would be really good for our fans. A lot of work to do between now and then, though.
Absolutely. One more thing, we'll let you go. You look at SMU, you talk about the job that they've done out there in their first year. What concerns you the most about their team?
I think they have great team speed. They play really well on the open floor. They rebound the ball very well. So those are probably some things right off the bat when you watch their team this week and you kind of get an eye on how they play. They've got older guards that are going to be very hungry, and we know that they look at us as a quad one win, so that's a big game, and we're sure we're ready.
They're walking the dog on Notre Dame right now, 17-5. They've held Notre Dame to 5 points in 8 minutes.
Well, I need to get back there and start watching a little more.
We'll let you do that. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon, and good luck Saturday at SMU.
Okay, Phil, thanks so much. Good to be back with you.
Yeah, you too, Coach. Thank you. We appreciate it. Okay, Brad Brownell, coach at Clemson, and I loved his answer about the ACC tournament. You darn right he wants to win an ACC tournament championship. That would kind of be one of the crowning moments for his tenure at Clemson. He hasn't won an ACC regular season championship. Still has a chance to do that. Needs some help. They've only won one of those. That was with Cliff Ellis. But they've never won the ACC tournament. And it's going to be in Charlotte. You know, if Clemson can make it to the championship game on that Saturday night, I would imagine half that arena would be Clemson people, depending on who they're playing. Maybe Duke. That would be something to see. But there is some work to be done. This SMU team is scary. The coach out there is a guy who came from Southern Cal. Andy Imhoff? Andy something. He was at Florida Gulf Coast, and he went to Southern Cal. What's his name? You got Master Plumber? You got the name? Andy something.
Andy Enfield.
Enfield, that's right. Andy Enfield. Well, they're up 17-5. Give you some other basketball. Wofford, talking about walking the dog, we're walking the Terriers. 60-25 over VMI. Kentucky 27-21 over Vandy. Winthrop 24-19 over PC. High Point 22-8 over Charleston Southern. North Carolina leading NC State 23-10. Is this a sign the Tar Heels are waking up a little bit? The Citadel leading Mercer 16-13. Baseball, South Carolina has finished it off with Queens. Gamecocks win it 7-2. 7-12-2. Ooh, Maneri's not going to be happy about that. 2 errors by the Gamecocks. 7-12-2. They left 11. 3-0-7 for Queen. The Gamecocks today, Nathan Hall, now batting .500. He went 4 for 5, had 1 RBI. Ethan Petrie hitting .438. He went 3 for 4. He drove in 2. And Kennedy Jones hitting .333. He went 2 for 4. So that's 9 of the Gamecocks' 12 hits. On the mound, we talked about Susie starting. He went 3 innings, 1 hit, no runs. Garino gets the win, 3 innings, 1 hit, no runs. Crowther, 1 2/3. He gave up a couple of runs, both earned. Marlott, 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit. Kimball, his first appearance of the season, he went 2/3 of an inning to finish up. So Gamecock pitching allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned. They walked 2, and they struck out 10. So they continue to strike out batters at a very high rate. Okay, we thank Brad Brownell for being with us tonight here on Sports Talk. I guess I should mention that 1 week from tonight, in the same time slot that we just filled, USC football coach Shane Beamer is scheduled to be with us live here on Sports Talk. So make a note of that. Shane Beamer, 1 week from tonight on Sports Talk. Auburn leading North Alabama 6-2 in the top of the 9th. Alabama 15-0 over Alabama State in the top of the 7th, and we'll be back.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's CORBETT. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit. 803-765-2968 or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Hi, this is Major Billy Downer, and coming up tonight at 7:30, it's another edition of SC Wow from the Department of Natural Resources on the Sports Talk Media Network.
If you're looking to grow your business, Sports Talk is here to help. I'm Matt Smith, and in addition to reporting for Sports Talk, I'm in charge of helping business owners make the most of our statewide platforms. Whether you're a small business owner or part of a large company operating here in the Palmetto State, we'd love to hear about your business. Sports Talk has a track record of delivering results to our partners, and it's probably more affordable than you think. Our network of affiliates shows us the flexibility to work with budgets of all sizes, and our statewide coverage means that whether you're in Greenville, Orangeburg, Chesterfield, Charleston, Woodruff, or somewhere in between, your future customers are listening to Sports Talk. Every business has a story, and we want to hear yours. It's our mission to serve this state, and that means finding success together. Please email us at sportstalkmedianetwork@gmail.com or contact us through our website, sportstalksc.com.
G3 here with Tsunami Bar Sports, and it's time for a fall preview. That's right, 720 Chris Drive, 378 and I-26, Frontage Road, where you can now preview the best technology for golf known to man. It's the Tsunami Bar. It's live weight. It's the only technology out where you get your tempo and flow going before you play. Now, it also serves as a pattern support tool. 720 Chris Drive, Frontage Road, 378 and I-26. You also can visit the Garage Gym Pro Shop. Pick up your tools, take them home, and while you're here, tour the Scramble Course 6-hole pitch and putt right now.
All right, coming up, SC Wild from the Department of Natural Resources with the one, the only, Major Billy Downer back with us after being in Las Vegas. And then he had a legislative dinner last week, so he's with us tonight. His guest will be Garrett Herring. He's with the, the Saltwater Enforcement Team. That'll be coming up in just a few minutes. If you have a question, a comment for Major Downer, he'll be more than happy to take your comment or your question. You can ring us up, 888-898-2525, South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, or you can hit us up on our text line, which is 803-900-4847. Hey, let me remind you, it's going to warm up. You're going to want to get to the beach this spring, this summer for that wonderful beach getaway. Just call Jimmy Smith at James Smith Real Estate, 843-237-4246. 843-237-4246, online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. The beach is the place. Jimmy is the man. That's all you got to know at the beach. Just ask for the man. They'll say Jimmy Smith, and you go, yeah, the man. And they'll go Jimmy Smith. 843-237-4246 for your perfect beach getaway. All right, we're going to hit the break. Come back just a moment. SC Wild, Department of Natural Resources, coming up in just a moment here on Sports Talk.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We are cold and wet. Some showers, a low of 31. Tomorrow there could be some spots with ice. We might even see snow flurries early on. Things do clear out with sunshine in the afternoon, and the high tops out at 43. Tomorrow night's low is a frigid 21. Friday looking nicer, a high of 47 to go with sunshine-filled skies. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Tradition and quality. That's what you get with H&J Cattle Company, where local third-generation farmers ensure you receive the finest beef in South Carolina. Our registered Hereford and Wagyu cattle are raised with sustainable practices, without growth hormones, antibiotics, or animal byproducts. Taste the difference with the highest quality beef guaranteed. Order now at hdjcattle.co or on Instagram and Facebook at H&J Cattle Co. Again, hdjcattle.co, where ethics meets quality.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting officials urged residents to stay off the roads in portions of Virginia and North Carolina, where a storm dropped heavy snow and caused hundreds of accidents in places that aren't accustomed to significant accumulations. The storm promised to bring more misery to some places just starting to clean up from deadly weekend floods. Snow totaling up to 10 inches is possible along the Atlantic coast in Virginia, and major ice could accumulate in parts of eastern North Carolina. Experts say a combination of training and technology were critical to all 76 passengers and 4 crew members surviving the fiery Delta Airlines plane crash in Toronto. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 71 points, the Nasdaq rose 15, with the S&P 500 advancing 14. More details at srnnews.com.
Every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on The Point, join me, Chad Jordan, and my co-host Larry Jordan for the Palmetto Real Estate Pros. We'll help you out whether you're looking to buy, sell, or just learn all things real estate every Friday right here at 100.7 The Point.
So who needs broker solar? Well, it's the homeowner or the business owner that wants to take some control of their own power bills. It's the family that decides clean solar is the path for them. Or maybe it's the church or nonprofit that wants to save some big dollars for their cause. Is it you? Maybe it's time you wake up to all Broker Solar can do for you. You have to let Ken and his team be your ultimate guide in what is pretty complex, this solar world. Make no mistake, solar energy is not for everyone. Despite what the scammers and door-knocking liars tell you, it is not free. It's a significant investment, but it has significant returns. From home installations to solar farms, Broker Solar can personalize your solar solution by meeting your needs and your budget. Their menu includes everything from full-scale solar on your roof or land and even battery backups for those pesky power outages that we've all endured. Visit brokersolar.com, stick it to the utility companies while also bathing in the sunny side of savings. Brokersolar.com, giving you the power instead of leaving you feeling powerless.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee-Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
Get ready to transform your home with All Southern Construction. Imagine sipping tea on your new deck as the Carolina sun sets, or enjoying a cozy evening in a screened-in porch designed just for you. Our locally owned and insured team prioritizes cleanliness and professionalism while ensuring your dream addition becomes a reality. Discover more at allsouthernconstruction.com or speak with us directly. Call 206-4816. Let's build something beautiful together. allsouthernconstruction.com.
Do you crave growth for your business? That's where The Point comes in. Fran Halloran here. Kevin Cohen and the other local hosts like me have worked to create a space where listeners transform into family. Are you a local business aiming for the stars? You need to get with Kevin and let him help create an individualized blueprint for your growth using the influential stage of The Point Radio. Reach out directly at 563-8558. Teaming with The Point, make this year extraordinary.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
It's SC Wild with Major Billy Downer from the Department of Natural Resources. Major Downer is here to answer your questions about the great outdoors. Call in now at 888-898-2525 and join SC Wild on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, time for SC Wild from the Department of Natural Resources. Right here on Sports Talk Media Network. Major Billy Downer from the Department of Natural Resources ordinarily would be on and talking right now. However, we have not connected with Major Downer just yet. either via the internet nor the phone. So we are working and efforting to connect with him. But we have connected with the Major's guest tonight. So I will do the best I can to fill in until the Major joins us here at some point in time, which might be
I just
now?
tried to call Major Downer. He said he is logging in right now.
Oh, he is calling.
So-
Okay, he is logging in right now.
But we still have our guest.
I'll go ahead and bring in the guest, who is Garrett Herring with the Department of Natural Resources Saltwater Enforcement Team. Garrett, good evening. How are you? Welcome to SC Wild.
Good. How are y'all?
We're doing terrific. We'll do better when Major Downer's with us here in just a moment. I see him clicking in right now. You know, the world of technology and electronics is a beautiful thing. Let's see if we have the Major with us. Make sure he's all hooked up and ready to go. Major Downer, good evening. Are you with us? Hello, Major. Well, I say electronics is wonderful when it works. Well, we'll get back to him in a moment. I do see that he's connected, but we're not hearing him. He will reconnect with us in just a moment. So, Garrett, welcome into the program, SC Wild from the Department of Natural Resources. So, your involvement with the Saltwater Enforcement Team, I know the Major will get into that, but what does that mean, the Saltwater Enforcement Team?
So our colonel and our law enforcement advisory board saw a need due to the seafood industry that we have here coast of South Carolina, with the commercial fishing industry, a need to have an enforcement team, which is part of our Region 4 coastal region of law enforcement, to enforce commercial and recreational saltwater marine fishery regulations and laws within the state as well as in federal water.
I think Major Downer is now with us, so I'm going to pass the fishing pole over to him. Major. Well, I just heard him a moment ago. Hello, Major. Major. All right, let's move on until we can get the Major. Might have to go on the phone with him if you have to, because we see him connected, but we're not hearing him. So we'll go back and pick up where we left off. So what exactly is it that you try to do to help out the seafood industry here in South Carolina?
So we enforce.
You got me now?
Oh, hang on a second. Major, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I'm sorry. We've had some technical difficulties today for sure.
Well,
it just kept knocking me off.
Let's blame it on the snowfall. You probably have about, what, a foot of snow on the ground?
Yeah, in my imagination. But, yeah. So Garrett's doing a good job in the meantime filling in the gaps. Yes, Garrett is. It just gave you a good reason for why we created the saltwater unit. And what I wanted to talk about tonight, and Garrett and I were together this early today, is just a lot of people don't realize that we have put a lot of emphasis on our saltwater resources, and Garrett and the saltwater team are a realization of that from the colonel down, wanting to push more emphasis on offshore operations to make sure that our coastal and marine resources are taken care of. So that's what Garrett's number one job is. And one of the things I wanted to bring him in on a little bit more this year is talk about saltwater fishery, our saltwater fisheries more, particularly in times of year like today, like February, when nobody thinks about offshore fishing. He and I were talking about that earlier today. Garrett, what is there anything actually biting this time of year for folks that don't understand that?
So right now, your biggest bite are going to be black sea bass offshore, your bottom fish. So what you normally would have within your snapper grouper family complex of fish, you're mainly going to have your vermilion beeliner snapper, and then you're going to have your black sea bass. That's going to be offshore. Also wahoo. There is a wahoo bite, and it starts about this time right now in the winter, late winter, early spring, and carries on through. We also, if you're inshore fishing, you've got your bull redfish that tend to school up around your jetties, more inshore off the coast here, so closer to the beaches, closer to the jetties. And then other than that, again, inshore, you've got sheep's head fishing right there on the jetties as well, out to about 10, 12 miles offshore.
Right. So wintertime when it gets cold, I know a lot of fish move to the offshore areas, offshore reef, artificial reefs like sheep's head. I know the bite's better. Yep, when they go to deeper water. So let's talk about that for a minute. Like, so wahoo, you said starts now, and I know a lot of people are familiar with dolphin fishing, maybe, going offshore for that, and that's more in March, April, probably May.
Correct.
And wahoo's a bite then too, but now, so are we working?
We might have lost the major. So I will step in and pick up where he left off. He was going to ask you about wahoo, I think. Wahoo fishing off the coast. Why don't you pick up with what his question might have been, and you can go with it from there.
So once you, again, this time of year, late winter, we start seeing the wahoo bite picking up. Some of your smaller tournaments are happening right now, or are starting to gear up. And the bite itself will get hotter as it warms up, but typically, again, right now is when the bite starts happening. And that's all, top water. So trolling, that kind of thing, not bottom fishing where you're taking a weighted line and taking it to the bottom.
So are people going offshore right now and fishing for wahoo?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And so for folks that don't understand that, how many people go offshore to fish for wahoo? I mean, is it just one boat? Is it a bunch of boats? When people think of offshore fishing, they probably think, it's just one or two boats. It's a lot more than that, isn't it?
It is. It's a lot more than that. Typically, it's like anything, any other hobby. You've got a group of guys and girls that's their thing. That's what they do. And when the wahoo fishery, when they go offshore, they're going offshore to the scarp. I mean, they're going, 50, 60 miles.
Right.
So, it's not something close.
Okay. Absolutely. And then when you talk about black sea bass, that's mostly bottom fishing, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir. Bottom fishing.
And this time of year, is that going to be on what we would call head boats, or is that also recreational?
So that's recreational. Yeah, that's recreational. That's charter, and that's head boats, like you'd said earlier. So, and again, the bigger fish are going to be further offshore. So, if you can get 12, 15, 20 miles offshore, you get around a reef somewhere in there, get on some type of structure, you have a better chance of getting bigger fish.
All right. I'm going to hit you with the next question that's people will tend to get hot about. Let's talk about red snapper and vermilion snapper. And South Carolina, as far as the South Carolina waters and then federal waters, explain that. Let's kind of start that from the basics for a minute. Okay.
All right. So the 3 mile line, 3 miles off the beach of our state, South Carolina, is the end of state controlled water, what you consider state waters, not state controlled, but state waters where state regulations are enacted. And then that divides into federal waters, which goes all the way out to the EEZ, the Economic Exclusion Zone, which is 200 and some miles offshore. So our state waters has a state law regulation to it now. So if you're inside 3 miles, you can catch red snapper, minimum of 20 inches. But when you're in federal waters, there is federally prohibited. You can't possess it. You can't catch them. You can't, if you do have them on your line when you pull up, you need to take the hook out and discard them. And there's information online on how to go about doing that to lessen the barometric or the barotrauma on the fish when you're returning it back to the water.
Okay. So red snapper, there's a very short season for red snapper. Is that correct?
That's correct. Right now, NOAA in federal waters The last couple of years, they've been doing 1 or 2 day seasons on that. But yeah, it's very short.
And those are typically when?
June, July time frame. Typically July.
And they're very popular, if I remember right. Though a lot of people go out to red snapper when that season's over.
They are, yes, sir. Yep. We obviously have no control over the weather, but it seems like in the last couple of years that they've done it, it's it's been some bad weather, so some of the anglers haven't been able to get offshore.
But typically red snapper is beyond the state waters where you're going to catch red snapper, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
That's what I thought. So back to vermilion snapper. I know that's some of the things that we teach our new officers when they come through. It's something I probably have no idea about, so I'm going to give you all the credit. And I am going to say this, Phil, there's a little inside joke with me and Garrett. We got the double paddle guy. He's on here today. We got the double paddle man. He's the bearer of the double paddles, which is like being the king boatsman. He's the coxswain. He's the big guy. He's taking that really fancy course, and I call it the double paddles. And he wears those proudly on his chest. So, Mr. Double Paddles, tell us about vermilion snapper and red snapper. What are the differences in those fish?
So your number one, just size. Your vermilion snapper are going to be slender, smaller stature, I guess is the better way to say it. Your red snapper are going to be a bigger bodied fish all around. Also, your red snapper have got the pointed anal fin. So if you look back to the main fin at the very back, their tail fin, right before that, you've got a fin down there. And when you look at that, it's going to have a sharp point to it. If it's got that, and again, with the body size, you have got a red snapper versus a vermilion snapper. They're also more of a reddish, vibrant color, where vermilion is to a point, but it's more of a pink type color to it. And I mean, those are really the biggest differences there.
Okay, so I know that people can confuse them. And is there a yellow lateral line? Is that something on the vermilion snapper also, or is that not as predominant on every fish?
It's not as predominant on every fish, and especially some of these snappers, some of them they are, but that it kind of goes back to the Spanish versus king mackerel. Some have it in a juvenile stage, and some adults don't. So that would be something tough to say, as a given, that every time that you see that, it is one or the other.
All right. So the anal fin, that last fin, is probably the more predominant, and the size, that sharply pointed one on the red snapper, is the part correct. Of the telltale. Gotcha. Because they both have red eyes, correct? So the red eye color, so it's kind of confusing there. Again, I give you all the credit. That's why you got double paddles and I don't. Because I do not know the difference between those two fish. But
I bet you one thing, though. I bet you know how to cook them up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I know how to cook them up.
I bet he does.
I know how to cook them up. I can do that. It's not hard to put fish in the oven and broil them. All of them do it that way.
At least,
with a little lemon and butter, we're in good shape. No, I wouldn't fry those. I will say this. Now, I will argue with the best fishermen out there that a sheep's head cut up into nice chunks, that white meat fried, is some of the best fish that you can taste. That's just my opinion. I'll stick with it. I also tell this, and it makes redfish people mad, but I don't prefer to catch and keep a redfish because I don't think they taste near as good. After you cut all that red meat out, holy cow, they can be strong. And I like them, honestly, I like black drum better, but that's just me again, but that's inshore fishing for me. So, but offshore right now, Garrett, looking at, we're fixing to be in that turn of the season, aren't we, where stuff starts to really turn on offshore next month?
Yes, sir.
And so people may not be used to being approached offshore. Explain a little bit, how do we work as far as checking people offshore, including at docks? How does that work? Because I know most people are used to us driving up next to them in the boat or walking up to them on the land and on the shoreline, and we're checking their fishing license and moving on. A little bit different offshore. What's your life like?
That's right. So, inside state waters, obviously, we're state law enforcement. If you're fishing, you have fishing poles on the boat, game warden's probably going to come up and, hey, y'all had any bites today? Y'all had any luck? Something to that effect. If you've been offshore and, again, you've got the fishing poles there, so we are deputized within NOAA. We take training. So when we go offshore, we pass the 3 mile line. We then take off, I guess you could say, proverbial South Carolina hat.
State cap and become a federal cap. Got it.
That's right. Yep.
Much like when it comes to our waterfowl, when we enforce migratory bird regulations, same thing.
Right. Correct. Yes, sir. And so, at that point in time, we're checking your fishery regulations, your gear, things like that. And again, it's just going to be, hey, you have any luck? Is what you fishing for? A lot of times we're going to ask what you're fishing for. Your gear's going to tell us that, and then we're on and off. For the most part, as long as everything's on the up and up, and quick, simple, easy. We get in, we get out, and same thing when you're returning from offshore. We might not board you offshore, but we might be inshore checking some of these sheep's head fishermen, and you come in later in the evening or something, we may stop you and board you because we see the big pin reels or the something like that gives it away that, hey, they're returning from offshore, they're probably been fishing. So and again, simple thing, quick and easy. Check licenses. So obviously you don't have to have a state fishing license when you're offshore, but once you come back in the state waters, you have fish on board. In order to land those fish, you have to have a state saltwater fishing license to go along with your limits that you have on board.
Right. So when it comes to, let's talk about something we haven't talked about so far. This is when the double paddles really come in, being able to work that boat with trawlers. Talk about our trawler enforcement so folks know, shrimping is still a big industry, and it is that in South Carolina. How do we enforce trawling regulations? Because you were talking to me about you were showing me the turtle, as far as the turtle extruder devices and how those work. So what do we do with trawling?
Yep. So shrimp boats offshore, it's dragging a huge net behind it. Got metal or wooden doors that keep that net wide open, and tickle chain goes along the bottom of the ocean floor there. And
hold on, stop it right there. So we're using terms that people forget, don't know. But the doors are basically like wooden doors that flaps that pull that net to complete wide open. So it's got a big old wide open net. And then the tickle chains are chains that literally just touch the sand and bounce up and down the bottom that make shrimp jump up, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, just the doors from the momentum of the boat going through the water forces those doors apart, which opens that mouth of the net. And so then at that point in time, they're catching shrimp. So we come along. There is a lane typically, and it depends on the boat and how big it is and how many nets it has, but there's a section in there to where we can safely pull a boat that is inside their trawl area, if you want to call it that. Nets are actively fishing in the water, boats moving. We can pull up behind them, and then we can board a officer, typically 2 or 3 on there, just because you have a number of crew members that are on that shrimp trawler. You got a lot of moving parts. That's correct. Yes, sir. So for officer safety, we try to have at least 2, if not 3 or more officers on there. And then they get on board. The nets get pulled up. We check for the turtle excluder device like you were talking about. and which is a federal regulation, and we check
And
for
the
that.
reason that's there is so that the nets, they will catch a turtle in the net, and
That's
just
right.
general pulling, and this allows the turtle to escape the net, and the catch goes down below those. It's kind of a weird. It's hard to describe out loud, but just for the viewers the people listeners that don't understand, it's a slot that allows that turtle to slip out, and it still allows the shrimp to be caught. It's pretty amazing how it works, but that protects our sea turtles offshore.
That's right. Yeah, we state of South Carolina is a very large breeding ground for marine turtles, all species, and they are an endangered species. So that's the reason behind the TED regulations there for our commercial
Turtle
shrimping.
extruder devices, TED.
Yep.
And so, what kind of shrimp are they shrimping? Are they fishing for when the shrimpers coming here in South Carolina? What are they shrimp? What are they trying to catch?
Well, it depends on time of year. You got road shrimp. And again, it's the time of year that these guys are coming in here. But yeah, for a lot of us, white shrimp is the big deal for summertime. So yeah, white shrimp.
And brown. So the brown. When you hear about brown shrimp, talk about the Ace Basin brown shrimp. That's different from white shrimp, but that's still a shrimp that's caught. Correct?
That's right.
And I know that's a kind of some people on the coast really prefer the brown shrimp because it's kind of a delicacy. I don't know if I can explain that, but I know when we've gotten shrimp from the trawlers, straight from the trawlers, a lot of times it's brown shrimp. So I didn't know if is there a difference in where they're trawling to get those different type shrimp?
So right there, trying to figure out how to explain it. In the summertime, you've got your brown shrimp, and that's basically coming in the summer, June to August.
Right.
And that's typically going to be like your cast nets, your seine nets, your tidal creek, your creek shrimp, if you want to call it.
Right.
And then your white shrimp come in like August to December, so later in the year after that.
Right.
And then they typically start off kind of in the creeks, and then they move offshore at that point in time, around late October, early November time frame. But yeah, typically those are your two main sources of shrimp there.
All right. Well, I know we're getting close on time. Phil's going to be pushing me off here, but just one of the things when people are at the beach and they see trawlers moving back and forth, there's a trawling line that they have to stay outside of. Correct? For folks who don't understand that, how far offshore do they have to be, or what is the line?
And that goes back to county ordinances. There's no state law that says. Now, used to there was in certain areas, but now that's no longer enacted. So it changes. It depends on the county. Yep. But
well, Garrett, thanks for coming on tonight. I hear the music, so we're getting ready to jump off. But thanks for being on the show tonight. We'll get you back when the fishing starts getting up on the offshore and kind of talk more about our offshore fishery. But thanks for being a part of the show tonight. And Phil, that'll wrap us up.
Thank you, Major. Thank you, Garrett. Have a great night, everybody.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the